everyone. Just before we get started, I want to give a great big thank you to the response for yesterday's video, guys. I don't know what to say. You guys listen to me spitball and talk about my journey over the last 8 years, and you're all very positive and supportive. And so again, I just wanted to say thank you. And in return, I wanted to do something a little bit more positive today that could probably benefit some people, hopefully. And what I wanted to talk to everybody about is how I survive as a middle-aged content creator, especially in the gaming space. I think this could be especially helpful because it's raw, honest. Also, you've got a lot of the bigger guys that are on their very lucrative salaries that have worked very hard to make it to where they are. They deserve it. But the thing is that they might be a little bit out of touch because it's been a long time since they've been on the smaller rung, like me, so to speak. And I don't say that to myself to be insulting. You know, I'm a smaller streamer. It is what it is. We do have something very special going on here at OneCoin Only, but I'm only a little guy. And so, yeah, I thought I'd just help people out, tell people how I make my living. And hopefully if you're in this space, it could inspire you to do the same thing. Also, I want to point out that I'm mainly on YouTube and on Facebook. I don't really have a lot of success on Kick or Twitch or TikTok even. So if they're the platforms you're interested in, I can't really help you. I could certainly help you out, at least from my point of view, on YouTube, because that's where I make a large amount of my living. And so, yeah, look, the first thing I'm going to mention before we even approach how I make my living is the why. It's very important that you kind of have your own personal mission statement. Ours for the brand is nostalgia with a smile and some new stuff thrown in. And everything I try to do branches off that. And it's really important you have a why. And why I have a why? Because, you know, if you don't have a why, you're basically on a road with no destination, a journey with no end. And I don't think that's a very good idea. You need to, you know, kind of had some conviction with your content, I think, you know what I mean? And so I kind of stick with and branch out from that. Pivot sometimes, but I usually branch out from that mission statement. So whether I'm doing reels, reaction videos on the things that I'm interested in, live gaming streams, you know, my AI nostalgic art, you know, whatever, you name it. My music projects, I remix old school EDM tracks as nostalgic. With video game music, Mario Maker music, with that being said, I try to remember that mission statement and create within that bubble in mind, if that makes sense. So I hope that helps out. It's good to have some structure. I'm not a structured person, but I try to conduct my content a little bit more accordingly in that way. Also, before we get into the money, I think it's really important that when you're offering something of value, like I said, that's my mission statement. That's what I'm trying to get my community to jump on board with. It's important that you're consistent too. I mean, you can't just jump on and be like, hey, you know what, I'm a live streamer. Hey, I made a video today, and expect people to invest in it. You're going to have to get used to the fact that sometimes you can create an absolutely awesome piece of media, and if for whatever reason it could be the wrong time of the month, people won't see it or won't be able to support on that day. So consistency is key, and to do it because you enjoy doing it is also so important. Like, yeah, look, I do this for a living, but if I didn't enjoy it in some way, shape or form, I wouldn't have survived 8 years. You know what I mean? So there is a little bit of humility involved in this. Sometimes, like financially, things aren't going to go your way, but you have to want to continue to create regardless. And that again will come down to your mission statement and why you do this. So now we're up to the juicy bit, guys. We're going to tell you how I make the finance side of things. And I'm going to start from the lowest and work out to the highest, I suppose. And we're going to start with ad revenue, whether this is things like reels, offline videos, we call them VODs, videos on demand, and things like that. So I might make a gameplay video, for example, a reaction video, a reel on a last level of a classic game. My advice is to occasionally experiment, because if you don't every now and then experiment, you know, you're not going to grow and you're not going to evolve. But at the same time, you also have to do enough of what's familiar so people can buy into what you're selling. You know what I mean? So it's trying to find a balance, easier said than done. Usually a ratio of 80% to 20%, 80% familiarity, 20% risk taking probably works, but it's not a be all end all idea. You'll have to work this out yourself depending on your niche. But yeah, ad revenue. Now, look, I'll be honest, this used to be a lot more lucrative, especially during the My Sharona time period or just coming out of it. I know Facebook in particular used to pay a lot more even for the most brain rot of videos. And if you're lucky enough to get a viral video, I'm not going to lie, there's hundreds, if not a couple thousand of dollars in it. I haven't struck one of those videos in a very, very, very long time. Like, we're talking a couple years. The reality is someone of my size for a video might make between $1 and $5 per video. If it's a really, really good video, get some extra new views, it might go up as high as $10, generally speaking. But if you're constantly creating and churning things out that people want, that will all add up at the end of the month. And so I guess between both channels at the moment, my ad revenue would work out on average to be a few $100s, several $100s a month for offline videos, whether it's reels and the offline content put together. I mean, it's not nothing to brag about or anything, but it's a good chunk of change. Like, if I was ever living under a bridge, at least I'd be able to get meagerang. So there is that. And so it all adds up at the end of the day. One thing I am going to teach you guys is don't make the same mistake I did for so many years. You can't put your eggs all in one basket. That's including the platforms that you're on and the type of content you're making. All I used to do was live stream on Facebook, and it was getting a lot of live donations and subscriptions. And I took that for granted, thinking it would last forever. It doesn't. Anything can happen. You really have to diversify, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. So anyway, a few $100s a month from ads, that's all right. It's a good chunk of change, right? It's a good starting point. Next, we got subscriptions. So subscriptions is people that can pay a fee, usually a $4.99 US a month, to join your channel and basically get premium perks. Sometimes you can have higher tiers or lower tiers depending on what you're offering. It's all different. Generally speaking, it's $4.99 a month. YouTube and Facebook, I think, usually take about 33% of a cut of that. But before people kick up a stink about these platforms taking a cut, remember, if it wasn't for these platforms, creators like ourselves wouldn't have a space to make a living and provide content to you guys. So I think places like Twitch are pretty greedy, taking 50%, but 33% kind of pushing it, but at least I can live with that, you know what I mean? So if I can live with that, hopefully you guys can live with that too. But next is subscriptions. And so basically, in order to get sponsorship from the community, because that's what a subscription is, a sponsorship. Community pays $4.99 a month in you because they believe in your content. But you can't really expect them to do that without expecting something in return. A lot of creators do get away with that, but for my own personal integrity, I think it's important to give back to your community, whatever that is. So just so you know what I do with my subscriptions, we got the custom stickers, and then we also have Whatever Wednesday, which is our request show. The supporters can come in every Wednesday and request a retro gaming of their choosing on the show, which I think is really good value. And plus, we also have the supporter-only Jackbox night on Saturdays, where people can come in for a massive marathon and play like digital board games with me basically all night long. It's a lot of fun, very crude. And so I think I offer really good value for that $4.99. At the end of the day, everyone's also happy because they're sponsoring me to stay on the air. And so I think it's a really good deal. So that's how I do my subscriptions. Now, there's been a bit of a downturn since, again, we're in a really weird economic time now where things aren't as lucrative as what they used to be. And because I've got a branded page on YouTube, apparently, and because I'm no longer partnered on Facebook, I don't have gifted subs, which has kind of hurt the wallet a little bit. But we do have regular subs where people can come in, just join and be a part of the community. And thank you to everyone who already does that already, by the way. So between both platforms, 200 subs, that works out to be, or it's not even 200 subs, about 180 now. That probably works out to be like one rent payment a month, which is certainly nothing to sneeze at. I mean, that's a roof over your head for a week, right? So that's pretty good. It's pretty good. One rent, that's in my case as a small-time streamer, one rent payment a month. And then the bread and butter of what I do, before I'm going to go to the bread and butter, there are some special mentions. You can do affiliate marketing. I really need to dive into that more, but I haven't really made it a massive priority, just simply for the fact that I am a low view YouTube page still. So I should do it anyway, but I haven't. That's something to look at. It can always improve. Merchandise, I really do need to upgrade my merchandise store. People do like to buy shirts, hoodies, things like that. The better designs you have, the better you do. That's something I'm going to have to prioritize a bit more. I do make a few sales here and there, but it's pretty negligible because everyone that's a supporter, I pretty much sell at cost price. That's another, like, I guess you could say under the table perk of having a subscription to me. And And what else is there? Oh yeah, there's also, I guess you could say, did I mention affiliate marketing? I did. No, sponsorships. Now, back during the pandemic years, excuse me, I was doing a lot better on the sponsorship side of things. I got some ridiculous offers. They're non-existent now. So, I mean, something will probably come along again. They can be lucrative, but at this point in time, they're not really happening. Doesn't hurt to be proactive and approach sponsors yourselves. You do have to be like your own marketing engine as well. So just putting it out there. So the main bread and butter, I have to admit, for my content is donations. And it's never the same every month. I mean, if you want to do this, garner the security of 9 to 5, well, I mean, there's no real such thing as security these days, but at least doing a 9 to 5, you know what you're getting every week. Some months are great, some months are not so great, but generally speaking, the community has my back and comes in, and if they're feeling like it's a job well done, they'll throw a tip here and there. And, you know, I try to offer extra incentives sometimes by, if you tip, I'll eat something gross or I'll take a drink or something like that. These are all little things you can do to encourage donations. But honestly, the biggest secret to getting the community to want to support what you do really is just by being authentic and being consistent and, I guess, humble with what it is you're selling, right? Also, I think it's, you know, I'm mentioning how I make my money. There are other variables as well. I mean, obviously your personality, your content type and everything. But as just your average Joe Schmo middle-aged guy, this is how I make my living. But anyway, sorry to go off on a tangent. Talking about donations, it's a tip you can get during your live stream, stars on Facebook, super chat or super stickers on YouTube. That usually works out to be several thousand dollars US a month. So maybe about 4,000 probably these days, roundabouts, maybe a little bit less, maybe 3 these days, after fees, not before fees, after fees. So it's a good chunk of change, and I'm grateful. I make a really good living doing this as a small-time guy, so I know if I could do it, other people could do it too. I would recommend going in with a plan as well. Like I said, it's very, very risky getting the social media game without some excess funds, so to speak. Like if you're just leaving your 9 to 5 and think you're going to make it overnight, you're not. This really is a marathon, not a sprint. I mean, I've been doing this 8 years. After all, I've only just really started making half decent videos, if I'm going to tell you the truth, in the last 6 months outside of the live streams. So, I mean, even though I have technically been making somewhat of a living from this for over 6 years now, it's been a long journey, guys. It's not an overnight thing. Also, don't try to be manipulative on your live stream as well. I think it's really important to keep your authenticity in the long term, even if it means getting less donations at first to get more later on, because sometimes people want to donate in order to have ownership over you. Your real community and the people that love you are going to support you because they want to support you. So be very, very careful that you don't sell your soul. I sound so dramatic for things like donations and subs. Stick to you, be authentic. It's okay to leave money on the table sometimes to offer a more authentic product going forward. So that's a little bit of advice I have as well. So in the end, look, I'm really thankful. I'm doing a pretty good job here, and we're just onwards and upwards. I mean, like, I'll admit that my financial situation's not as lucrative as it was, but on the more positive side, the content, the subscriptions and everything are on the up and up. So that's another thing. You've got to trust in yourself in the process. Even when things aren't perfect, you still have to wake up, get out of bed, and remember your why. I don't think there's really too much else I need to touch on. I mean, I guess talking about cost of living and everything like that would be good for another video. I know with my situation, it's not great. Australia is terrible, but I'm making like some appropriate changes. So by next year, hopefully things will be a little bit better. But I mean, I'll address that in some future vlogs anyway. But I hope this helps somebody. You know, I had a little bit more of a ramble rant video yesterday, so I was hoping this one could be a little bit more inspirational, and I hope it was. So thank you very much for watching, guys. Appreciate you, and I'll see you on the stream.